All right, boys, we've got a heap of new listeners listening to the MacPack podcast in the last couple of weeks.
So many.
They're coming down the pipeline hard, that's for sure.
They're absolutely loving it. So there must be a little bit of sharing going on, which
There must be.
we absolutely love.
Oh,
because
of course we do.
listening to a podcast is good.
Yeah, of course.
But listening to a podcast with your mates, so
Oh.
you can laugh about the inside jokes.
Inside jokes.
Hell yes. You can have inside jokes about the show. You can talk
That's-
about how rich Joey is.
That's what you want. So if you can spare a minute, all we're asking you is to share the MacPack podcast with a mate. Just flick a mate a text and go, hey, you might be interested in this, and see what they say.
Of course.
And if you are enjoying the show, make sure that you head to Spotify and give us 5 stars, or head to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review and write a little couple of words in there, and we'll be sure to read them out on a future episode
Yes,
of
you'll get
the
a shout out.
MacPack podcast. Boys, should we get into it?
Let's do it.
G'day, welcome to the MacPack.
We're back.
My name is Jamie Kenner, and to my left this week, in order the man on the panel with the most K's run this week. It's my little brother Joe. How are you doing?
Yes, I was running. Find out if I beat the robot.
Oh, and to my right, coming in at 6'1", as he does each and every week, it's the baby brother of the pack who we call Junior Boy. Junior Boy, how are you?
I was activating and Joe was running. One of us won.
It was a big weekend, massive weekend. Plus the sign competition took place on Saturday. We're chatting about all this stuff off the top. Plus, Junior Boy, you're taking us back to yesteryear.
That's right. Something occurred to me about primary school that I needed to talk to you boys about.
I need to judge Joey to sit on a situation from the weekend.
Oh, wow,
I was
yeah.
faced with a bit of a social dilemma.
Oh, I always get them.
I believe we've also got a hero, a sausage saviour.
A sausage saviour.
Massive. And we're
Sizzle.
chatting. We found something during this week, boys. We found something. It's a massive ep. Let's get into it.
What's that noise? Guys, can you hear that?
We are joined by royalty. Boys.
The
Joined
man.
by royalty
Brother
free.
Mingos.
How are we all? Are we all well?
Brother Mingos, indeed.
How is this no copyright?
We're not sure. This,
Just
boys.
put that in the title of your YouTube video.
Us and the other 1.9k viewers are all in the clear.
Joey boy, congratulations. He has officially clocked the 12.
The 12.
The 12Ks at the HBF Run for a reason over the weekend. How are you feeling? Achilles torn off the bone.
I got it done.
Oh.
I got it done. And I turned him down.
He's back in the press
What are they going to
conference.
say now?
Yeah, so there was a lot of hate going around
We did it.
about this robot crap.
Yeah. Fuck the robot.
Fuck the robot.
If you haven't heard, robots in China
China.
Yep.
ran a half marathon
Yep.
and a 12er. They ran a 12er in
Just a half.
And they run a halfer, and then
We
we
did
worked
math.
out the
per 12.
pace.
Yeah.
that they
And
ran it in.
so they would have ran 12 kilometers in an hour and a half. That was Joey's time to beat.
Yeah.
That was.
We'd been campaigning for it for a couple weeks.
What did you? Because we know you finished
I did finish.
That was
because I'm wearing
because
my
you got the medal.
HBF Specsavers 12K.
What time
Finisher.
did you finish the race?
Am I going to spoil it straight away?
Oh,
Or do you want to hear the story?
As long as it doesn't go for an hour and a half, we'll hear the story.
I've got a step by
No,
step.
we don't have time.
The gun goes off, right? And I'm thinking I'm starting with the right foot. And then a left foot. And then a right foot.
How far back were you from the pack? How many guns got off? Because there's different waves.
It was actually like a loud speaker system.
Well, someone just went,
Actually, maybe
go.
there was a countdown thing. But it was really weird because at the start, there's so many people there. I was in wave B.
Yeah.
Nice,
Not
dude.
bad, not bad.
What does B stand for? Big
Big,
dick swingers.
big cock. And
Nice.
it was you nominate yourself based on whatever time you think you're going to get.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what time were you estimating?
So that was people who finished in under 125 and like 110 or something like that,
Okay.
which was faster than I was aiming to do it. But my buddy said, he goes, you're better off being the back of a wave than at the front of a wave because then you like overtake so many people.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I reckon that would feel so good. I'd pick up so much pace if I could see people in front of me that I was
Yeah.
going to overtake.
Slapping them on the ass as you go.
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
I was because when we started, I was at the back.
Yeah.
and
So you
it
got to do the
starts.
slapping.
The adrenaline is pumping.
Couple of boys.
The
just slapping
countdown
each other.
goes off. Let's go. And then you start running, right? And everyone starts running. But there's like thousands, hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
And you're all, it's like very tight at the start.
40
So you start running. It's very slow, and then everyone kind of started to walk a bit because like
What? Already?
there's too much going on. Yeah, you couldn't run properly
Oh, at the beginning.
at the very start. Yeah,
Too busy.
yeah, and then it gets out, and then it opens up a bit.
Okay.
But at the start, you're just congested. You can't run your fastest. And I was thinking, this is good. I don't want to start too hot.
But not great because you want to be beating the robot as well. Like,
Well, the robot was always on the back of my mind,
Yeah.
and there was dealing with a few things that robots don't have to deal with.
Like what?
Well,
To
last
kill
week on the pod, I had actually borderline sprained my ankle the day before.
Nice.
But I kept it on the down low because I didn't want the robots to hear. But the whole week I didn't run. I was stressed about my ankle hurting. So I decided to rest it up.
Nice. Good call.
And then it got to Friday and I was getting worried that maybe I wouldn't even be able to run on the race because my ankle was hurting so much. Wow. So I turned to none other than my friend at work.
Oh.
The robot Copilot. Microsoft Copilot.
Oh.
One of the lesser known
is this not? This isn't chat.
AIs. It's related to chat, but it's run by Microsoft.
Okay.
I ask it, it tells me, you know what? Get home or tomorrow, do a test run, see how you're feeling. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Have a test, see how I'm going. And then a bit later, because I was still quite stressed about this, I checked in with Chat. That's right,
Nice.
another robot. And Chat says, do not listen to Copilot. Copilot is gone nuts.
He's trying to set you up.
So Chat said, don't test it, just show up on the day and
Seriously?
fucking hope for the best. Yeah, which was kind of hard because competing robot influences. But I went with Chat and it turned out right because my leg was not a worry at all.
Wow.
I was able to do it. But
Did it hurt afterwards? Or is it hurting
God,
now?
yeah, it
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah. As expected.
But there was another thing that robots don't have to deal with that I had to deal with. And it was something that I had faced a few times on runs
Okay.
and it's not nice.
Nah.
The nipple chafe.
Oh.
It's really not good.
And we talked at the back end of last week's episode quite maturely, I thought.
Oh, as always, yeah.
Around what sort of things you could do to prevent nipple
Yeah.
chafing.
I cut them off
Yeah.
on Monday.
What did you end up going with?
sliced them off.
What did you end up going with?
I
Because
went
we-
with Band-Aids. 2 big Band-Aids.
Okay. Just one.
Over the top.
I feel like that wouldn't do much.
It did great.
Oh, yeah?
Shave. Yeah, it was good.
No chafing.
No, but about 5Ks in, I did get
Ripped his nipples off when he pulled the Band-Aid off.
I did get a big blister about 5Ks in
Nice.
Where was that? On your
on
foot?
my foot. Yeah, it was sharp pain for a while there, and then I finally found the aid station. I hit up the aid station, right?
Okay, yep.
Some person is in the ambulance, and there's an ambulance coming to save them. And I run up to the aid station, like, "You guys got Band-Aids?"
I got a
nips,
blister.
dude.
I got a blister
Yeah.
on my
And then
foot.
she's like, "Yeah, how many do you do?" I'm like, "Just the one." And
So
I
you
grabbed-
took your shoe off and put a
No,
Band-Aid
I
over
sat
your-
down at the aid station, took my shoe off, put a Band-Aid on,
How long did that take?
like a minute or two.
Doing pit stops.
Yeah, I did a pit stop, yeah. And after that,
Arrogant.
Did you stop to pee at all?
no,
just pissing down his leg. Just let it
No, I
run.
peed before the race.
Yeah.
The big lines for the toilets on the race. Guys, go beforehand. Come on. But yeah, I put the Band-Aid on, and then I don't know what I was expecting, but it still hurt quite a bit. It was definitely less painful. But you know, I was kind of imagining, okay, I'll put the Band-Aid on, and then I'll be fine. But then I started running, I'm like, oh, yeah, it still hurts a lot. But I just pushed through.
Push
Even though
on.
I had to run for 7Ks with the blister, which is almost like the farthest I've ever run in my life. But with a blister. But you just kind of worry about it. Although sitting down, like I only stopped for that, and then a couple times I stopped to have a drink. And like that's bad because then when you start off, like you stop and you kind of like, whoa, I've been running for so long. Now I'm not running. This is kind of nice.
Where are you stopping to drink? Is people handing you drinks?
Yeah, handing me a
Or
drink, yeah.
you weren't at the pub or anything?
Yeah,
Like-
no, I got an espresso martini.
yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
it was good. Yeah, I chuffed off a bit and I got that. But yeah, it was good. I got it done.
And this whole time you're stopping, you're sitting down to put a Band-Aid on that's doing nothing. You're having little sippies of tea and stuff on your way. You aware of how long you got? Like you got your watch on?
Yeah, I got my watch on.
So you're keeping pace for like I'm ahead of robot.
Yeah, I was doing good. I was beating the robot. There was one point when I got to the 9-kilometer mark, I was like a kilometer ahead of where I wanted to be.
Okay.
Oh wow.
And then I was
That's
like,
pretty
this is
impressive.
good
Take
because
that.
I could still take the last 3. I could take like a while
Yeah.
and still get it done.
So what did you end up finishing it in?
1 hour 22 minutes.
Yeah, wow. You take that, absolutely. Robot, you beat robot by like 8 minutes, and you literally like stopped multiple times.
yeah.
Do you reckon you could have done it if you didn't stop and you didn't get this blister? You reckon you could do sub 1 hour?
Fuck no.
No?
20 minutes quicker.
I don't know. How long are you sitting down for? It sounds like you're taking it very easy when you're like, yeah, I took it easy for the last 3Ks. I stopped 3 times.
Oh, no, I didn't.
I sat down to aid my blister. It feels like you like did it over the course of a weekend.
No, I didn't take it. I think I could have. I got to the point where I was like, oh, I could do these last Ks in like 10 minutes each and still beat
How
the
arrogant.
robot.
That's so arrogant. Imagine doing a 10K just to piss. Yeah.
But yeah, no, blister stop. It was only a couple minutes. You just
Alright.
take it on your shoe, put on a band-aid, put your shoe back on.
I hate to
It's
be
not like a whole thing.
I hate to be that guy, boys, but Joe, can you tell me how they tracked the time on the day?
Oh boy.
What do you mean?
How do they track your time on the day?
Oh, you wear a little bib,
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
cool.
in the bib?
a tracker,
Little microchip. A little robot.
a little robot. What?
A little robot was with you the whole time.
And also the way I tracked it myself was on my
Apple
watch.
oh.
Run by robots.
They're coming to get us, man. Good job. Congratulations. Massive effort. Massive achievement as well to beat the robot. We set you a bit of a task. You smacked it.
Nice.
Not going to lie, because I came to the event. Riley was already activating at the
Yeah, I was
event.
activating, obviously.
But I came to the event. Joe didn't run with his phone, which everyone that I've spoken to about that seems a bit dumbfounded. Like, what the fuck? What do you mean? What did you do with his phone? He's off the grid.
Why do I need my phone? I'm not making goals.
Who knows with you accounting? And then, so you ran with your watch, but we knew about this injury
Yeah.
for a while, probably 2 weeks ahead of time.
Yeah.
And the injury seemed to flare up, in my opinion, like day
The day
before
before,
event.
yeah.
All of a sudden, there was a lot of chatter around the family around,
The stress.
yeah,
of
Joe's
it
just
all.
going to run without an Achilles. So that'll be interesting to see how he goes. And then you ran, and I was checking in with Riley a few times because I wasn't at the event at this point, just being like, how's Joe going? Can you see him? Texting you, being like, how are you tracking? How's your fucking leg? Hearing nothing from anyone. So my mind went to the worst, and I was just like,
Dead.
This guy's Achilles is just hanging.
Man down.
Yeah, but I was stoked to see that you had made it
Yes, I did.
all
Yep.
the way to the very end.
Made it without the phone. I don't see some robots you can leave at home. The phone being one.
Would you leave it at home?
No, I didn't leave it at home. But you could have. I could have. I didn't want it on me. Those things are big. They slow you down. That's why I got the watch.
How did you even find us at the end of the event, though?
I just went to where Riley was activating.
Rendezvous point.
There you go. Lucky you were there. Good stuff.
Yeah, I was looking on the finish line for you guys, but no one was about. That was kind of.
Oh, we were there. We were there in spirit. We were there. We were off the grid.
You guys are doing it with me next year, right?
There's definitely been a lot of talk about that. You went pretty hard on that last night, more or less.
The
being
energy
like,
on the day while I was
It's
activating
motivating.
was high. Watching all 40,000 runners cross the finish line. Pretty inspiring, dude.
How far do you think we could do it? I think 3Ks wouldn't be like
I could have done the 3K yesterday.
I did further, with all due respect. Props to everyone who did the 3K.
Here we
Fantastic.
go.
I would have walked further than 3K to get to the train after the event. Fuck me, in the rain. Foot traffic was a nightmare. Anyone that did the 3K like had the best walking experience of anyone at the event. Because if you had tried to, you should have just used that as a perfect point to leave.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
Because they'd marked off all this area. Where
Actually,
I was
you-
walking, there was no space. Like it was just body on wet body on wet body. Another thing, pissing down his brain.
Oh
right?
yeah,
As we were leaving, obviously the ground is soaked.
muddy.
Yeah.
And there were massive puddles. But everyone other than basically me, like all the people who were in the race, were pretty soaked, right?
Yeah.
I've come from home. I'm pretty dry. They're approaching these puddles as if they're not drenched already. Like they were stopping
Yeah.
and pausing and like stepping around puddles. I'm like, you are so... You actually, if you fell in the puddle, you'd be less wet.
Yeah, but
than
if
you are
your
at the
sock
moment.
isn't, you know, that you can feel your socks not drenched.
Yeah.
Like you don't want a drenched sock.
You don't.
I had that. It was not good.
When everything else is drenched.
There were
Just
puddles on
get
the
in the
co-
puddle. Swim in the puddle.
There were puddles on the course you had to jump over. which was a little bit of fun.
Joe's just
Yeah, although I was a little bit worried, like, I'm going to jump over this and then go down.
well, good
Drown
stuff
on the race.
Good stuff, Joey. We may. What would you feel comfortable doing next? Yeah, if we were to do it.
Oh, we'll see. I don't know. Got to start training, but I mean, ideally the half.
Ideally, the half. Ideally, I would be the same. I'd skip the 12 and just go straight to the halfer.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll do the half next year.
Big dog.
We haven't. Yeah, we'll see. We'll very
see how
much.
you go.
We'll see about that. Are you doing the half next year?
I was planning on it, yeah.
Okay.
We might as well see you there.
As long as the injury doesn't keep up.
Jenny boy, you're taking us back down a memory lane.
Boy, something occurred to me recently, which really just sparked up a lot of questions
Yeah, huge.
in the old frontal lobe.
Well,
Is that where
Oh,
all
the
the
lobe is cooking.
Is that where the questions happen, Joe? The old frontal? The old four?
They must
The
do,
old forey?
because the frontal lobe is one of the last ones, which
Yeah.
I don't think you have yet.
No, I don't have that
22.
shit. Yeah, I'm still
So
developing.
is this one of the first questions you've had?
Ever.
Yeah, actually, it probably is.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important questions I've ever had,
Okay.
I reckon. Let's dramatize it before we get into it.
Yeah. Let's hype it up.
Let's
Massive.
build suspense. So, being 22 now, this chair is probably the most uncomfortable chair I sit in every week.
Yeah, okay.
Usually, you just upgrade, you know? You've got recliners. You've
I
got...
reckon yours is bad, mate. I'm sitting on a cushion that I've sat on for 4 years.
Do you reckon that has a split in the middle yet? Because it's folded over?
It'd be worth looking at. So where I sit, for the people who listen, probably not. You would have seen us on TikTok.
You would
and
hear
whatnot.
the squeaking.
Yeah, but when you look at the three of us sitting here, I sit in the middle, but my seat doesn't have that pump element.
Yeah.
It doesn't go up.
Yeah.
So we have to prop it up. So rather than me just sitting on the table or anything, I have to sit on a pillow.
Yeah.
But the pillow is way less tall than it was 4 years ago because every week I sit on it and it's folded over.
Yeah. So we're all roughly the
So
same height.
ergonomic is not even like close to what this shit is.
Jack's got a little booster seat, doesn't
Yeah, but I guess it's molded to my comfort. I guess over the 4 years.
Molded to your
A
ass.
Spacey Jane booster seat. Hell yeah. Anyway, we're talking chairs, boys.
Chairs.
We're talking
Love
chairs.
'em.
Because recently I saw one of those chairs that you sit in primary school, and I sat in it, and I was like, yep, this is as uncomfortable as I remember.
Yeah.
But what puzzled me was the fact that we all went through 15 years of school.
Yep.
And then
Formative years.
And then like 3 years of uni, and we just stuck in these shitty little plastic chairs that are like so bad for you.
And it's pretty crazy because, obviously I don't know much about like how bones develop and all that kind of stuff, but you're going through your growth spurts, your puberty, you're going from a child to a grown up.
Yeah.
And you're sitting in like this tiny plastic chair
Yeah.
for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like if you were making a clay mold, you wouldn't put it in something shitty for most of the day and then hope it turns out good.
It's probably the first time I ever thought about the chairs. I remember the chairs at high school, especially when we got to higher end of high school, like let's say year 5, so primary school, let's say year 5, year 6.
Yeah.
They were like steel legs.
Yeah.
And the hard plastic ones up top. Which were more uncomfortable than the ones we had in high school.
Just like the plastic ones.
Yeah, which are all just like built the same. They're sort of just molded out of the same
And
thing.
there would be the guys who typically like the bigger, stronger dudes
Like you.
would sit in their chair and like bend it back.
Yeah.
They'd be able to bend the chair
bend the
back.
plastic.
And then you go into like a year 12 classroom and you sit in it.
Yeah,
and you got a
whoa.
recliner. You've accidentally got the
And you're back
recliner.
here like this.
I'm down here in bloody Lux Cinemas.
Yeah.
They must just be dirt cheap. Is that would be the only way that they'd be able to?
Yeah, they have to be like real cheap. But then what I don't understand is like now they're like, I'm sitting like an office. Like that just wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
Like
Does it still fly at schools? I haven't been at school in 10 years.
I don't know. Every single seat I've sat in since I finished school has had cushioning of some sort. Why is there no cushioning? It's like one layer. Just add it to the chair.
Yeah, that's the most fucked thing. Is like even like if you go to Optus Stadium and you sit on the chairs there, they all have a little bit of padding from memory. Do they?
No, that's just the ones in the nice area.
Okay.
And
Right.
Some of
Which
them.
you're really showing your hand, aren't you?
I feel like they do have a bit of cushioning.
Must be very nice.
They're not uncomfortable, those ones. But you could do that with these chairs, like those plastic ones. Just put like a little amount of cushioning over the top of it.
All we're asking for is a tiny amount.
You're laughing. Well, we shouldn't be asking. We're done. We're not
we're
there.
done. But
Is uni the same?
Uni's like the weird. They're still shit. They're still shitty plastic chairs. I mean, I don't know. We all sit in different ones.
I can't remember. What was our
Uni
university?
chair.
Like lecture chairs have a bit of cushioning on them in like the lecture theatres.
Yeah.
But like a general classroom, mine didn't.
Well, when I was at the Fremantle University, the lecture theatres,
Yeah, hide the name.
the lecture theatres there were like really not. They were proper like nice
heritage
chairs.
listed.
They were almost like cinema chairs, but like
Oh.
old school, like that sort of foam. Boys, 5 years of the pod coming up, so it's time for a performance review.
You bloody betcha, Jake. It's been too long.
It's been too long. Who's the boss? Who's telling us what we're doing?
Well, we don't have bosses here at the MacPack. You are the only stakeholder listening.
Oh.
So we want to throw the thing open to you. We've made a Google form with a few questions in there.
It's anonymous.
It's completely anonymous. So whether that is a good thing or a bad thing, we'll work out after the first few come through. But it does mean no matter what you put in there, we'll never know who put anything in there. We want to hear your favorite things about the pod, your least favorite things about the pod, the things you want more of, the new ideas that you might have.
Yes.
It's all open for you guys.
Link in bio, link in show notes. Hit us up.
Yeah.
They were real nice from memory.
Wow.
I can't remember what it was like at the other joint I went to. Especially when you go to like I think when you go to like your classes, it's just like the same high school sort of chairs.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I was sat on a chair like that.
But how come no one complains? Like the teacher's got a nice chair up the front.
Yeah.
And all the kids are just on these really horrible plastic chairs. Why do kids sit in shitty plastic chairs when they're going through
Yeah, it's
school?
crazy. Like at my work, we have like in part of the OH&S and safety. Like part of it is the manager needs to go around at least once a year
Yeah.
and talk to you about your workstation. Do you need anything?
Yeah.
Is your chair good enough? Whatever. Do you
Yeah.
need a thing? A sit, stand, whatever. But kids, it's just like fuck them. Who cares?
Have you ever tried to sit on the floor
When?
since you've got graduated?
Every now and
When you're in
then.
primary school, all you do is sit on the floor and you have to cross your legs, and you could cross your legs so well.
Yeah.
I tried to do it the other day. Oh my God, nearly tore both groins off the bone. It was fucked. Alrighty, boys. We did this a few weeks ago, and it is back. Judge Joey returns. I want you to get involved as well, Judge Joey and Judge Junior, because last time we were both in the situation, so it made sense just for Joey to get involved.
Yeah.
But this time, Junior Boy, you weren't there.
I can tear you a new one as well.
So you can be, what would you call it? Like a...
He can be,
the jury.
yeah, he can be jury junior.
I can be jury number.
Judge and jury.
Yeah.
Okay. Things kicked off. This is at the footy a couple of weeks ago now. Now I was sitting
Guilty.
there. I was sitting there. I want to paint the picture.
Order.
I want to paint the
Order
picture.
in the court.
I want to paint the picture for you guys. Half time of the footy. So where we sit, there's a couple of legends to our right who are a little bit older,
Yep, old people on the right.
but they're often rotating. Right? It's very rarely, in my opinion,
It's an old person's home,
from my,
and they alternate through who goes each.
yeah, whoever's not on the verge of death that week gets to go to the game.
Jeepers. None of this is true. Like, we're
Whoever's
not
been
sure.
good on their meds.
They get to
Yeah,
come out. They're lovely. They're always lovely people.
Yeah,
right?
but they're
Which ones
rotating.
the ones who haven't bit any of the nurses this week. Anyway, carry on. So far guilty.
they're really nice people, though. They are really nice.
Oh,
They're always
yeah.
very kind.
100%. I was never in doubt. No one ever said that they weren't.
No.
What if you
good.
said he
They're on
bit
good.
someone?
They've got to be on good behaviour to be at the footy.
So this guy's sitting next to me. It's half time of the footy, and he proceeds to do one of the strangest things I've ever seen. And I guess I want you guys to tell me if
Who do you bite?
Yeah.
I want you
Did you
guys.
squirrel grip someone?
I want you guys to tell me what my actions should have been. I could have gone two ways about it, and I
Punch
want,
him in the throat.
the two options are I could have assisted,
Oh, the
Okay.
assist.
Or you could have assaulted.
or I could have just sat there and allowed him to do his thing and not worried.
Bystander.
What I'm going to describe to you now is the moves that I saw him make. He's sitting where basically Riley is away from me, right?
Were they like Jagger?
So he's sitting there and he goes on his telephone.
Yeah.
And
What
he
phone was it?
like an iPhone, right?
Oh, okay.
And it was a flip case, like a proper, like a
yeah.
dad, like an old dad.
They
would.
love those. Hey.
Yeah.
Opens up the contact section of his phone.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And let's say he was trying to find like a mechanic or something. I think that seemed to
Okay.
be what it was. So he's done that. He's a very well dressed man. A lot of the mature gents are quite well dressed.
Yeah.
Opened up his little sweater vest that he had, pulled out a pen.
Nice.
Right.
Okay.
He's
I like
now-
where this is going.
He's now
Started writing on
he's
his
now
phone.
got his phone in one hand, a pen in the other. He puts his phone on his lap,
Okay.
but it's still opened up in the contact section,
Yeah.
and it has the mechanic's number.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, beautiful. And he starts writing down the mechanic's phone number on his hand,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, he's gonna do that,
And
he's
then-
gonna dial.
And then what happened was so he's done that, and I'm assuming like maybe that's not his phone. I didn't see him grab the phone. I thought it might have been his mate's phone.
Yep.
And anyway, so now phone's on lap. He's writing the number on his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He's finished writing the number.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, okay, there you go.
Full stop.
Got the number. Good job.
Then he proceeds to,
We're gonna call it
and I'm
tonight.
still sitting there watching what's going on. I'm still sitting there watching what's going on, and like, I've got nothing to do with it. I just want to watch because I've got no idea what he's doing. Then he proceeds to shut the contacts app, open up his
Phone app.
his texting app, like the iMessage app,
Okay.
and then open up like a text to someone. I imagine from what I could see, it might have been his wife.
Oh, hi.
And then he proceeds to hold his phone in one hand, look at his other hand, and type out the number
the
that he had
old-
copied from
yeah.
the contacts to his hand and then back to his phone.
The old copy and paste job.
By the hand.
Copy and paste.
So, so at this point, because I watched the whole thing and I wasn't sure what he was doing at the start, but then by the time he's like, inserting the number back into his phone that he already has,
Yeah.
I was thinking,
This guy needs his meds.
I was thinking one of two things because it's not a bad way of going. Like I can see where he's coming from. What he's wanted to do was get a contact and send it to his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what he's done is he
How can I
didn't.
make that as difficult as possible?
So what he hasn't realized is there is a function in the phone that you can just copy the contact
Yeah.
multiple ways. So you got to copy the number or copy the contact or done, I don't know, a numerous
Or
amount
like
of things.
Swipe across and you can look at the.
Done anything. But instead he's gone the old method of pull the pen out of the pocket, write on the hand, put the pen back in the pocket,
I
and
love
then
that
read
you-
off my hand to then put it back into the phone.
I love that. Like, it seems like it's probably something he's done before.
Oh, heaps.
But like, he doesn't have a little notebook. He just writes on his hand.
Yeah. Like it seemed bizarre to
It'd
me.
be better if he just had all the numbers on his hand.
So I was sitting there and it was at this point, because obviously I'd watched the whole process unfold and I couldn't jump in at any point because I didn't realize
know
what he
what was
was
going
doing.
on, yeah.
I just thought, oh, he's just writing a number on his hand. Good on him. It's not his phone. It was his phone and he just wanted to text the number to his partner. Judge Joey, Judge Junior, what I want to ask is, in that moment,
King hit him.
I would like to think, and if there was no fear factor of what he would think of me,
Yeah.
because Mum was there as well, and I turned to Mum and said, "Did you see what he's just done?" And then Mum's gone,
Mum's writing on it. Mum's writing a number on it. What are you going on it?
anyway.
Mum's getting a text about a mechanic.
So the question I want to ask is, should I jump in and show him that he can copy and paste the thing and teach him a whole new feature? Or if I was to do that, does he go, why the fuck are you watching what I'm doing? That was the reason I didn't do it. Because the helpful side of me would be like, man, while you're at it, do you want me to show you there's an easy way to do that? It will save you ink, having to write on your hand.
You don't have long left, so these are minutes
Yeah.
you can never get
It's
back.
valuable seconds. But I could have done that. But the reason I didn't, because I just sat there, was largely because I was like, if I interrupt his process now, he's going to go, this bloke's been watching me from his peripherals for the last 3 minutes. How weird.
I think that you should have said, after he finished, you should have said, oh, hey, I couldn't help but notice that you were
Graffitiing on
you were
yourself.
writing on your hand, and then you sent, I was like, why is it writing the name? I guess it is kind of a long-winded thing to say. I would just say, I just noticed you did this. You know, you can actually, I would just say, I just saw what you were doing. Just wanted to let you know you can copy the contact. And then I'd show him how to do it.
Yeah.
Because I had a similar thing at the footy when this woman was trying to, you know, when they do like Oh, pick the song that's going to play at 3/4 time.
Okay,
QR
yes,
code.
yes.
So this woman was taking photos of the QR code, right?
Oh, I've seen this happen heaps.
And then like
I've seen our
trying
mother do
and
this.
trying to zoom in on the photo after it had already been taken, and then use the QR code, something like that.
Yeah,
And
I've
I was
seen
like,
so
you
many.
can do it. You can zoom in on the app. You don't need to take a photo. You can just tap it.
So many people where I used to work, we had a lot of older members that we used to come through the place. And we started putting QR codes on posters to make things easier.
Yeah.
Fucking worst thing we could have. I've never seen people take more photos of a poster trying to get a QR.
You could have
They
put
just-
100-character URL. It would have been easier for them.
Well, that's what we used to do. And they used to love it. They'd just sit there like trying to copy this thing out.
Yeah, right on the hand, right on the phone.
But the funniest thing is because a lot of the time. So what do you think I should have done? Just quickly.
Told him how to do it.
Okay. Well, next time I sit next to him, maybe I'll go through it.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't want to pry. It looked like I was prying on his thing. What used to happen at the sailing club was because a lot of these elderly people used a lot of their QR code. Their only appearance and their only experience with QR codes was with the COVID app.
Yeah.
We would put a QR code on like a luncheon, right? Or we'd have a big event upstairs and people could come and learn about all the stuff going on at the club or arrive at a Mother's Day lunch. And so they'd try and get there via the event and they wouldn't open up their camera app. They would open up the COVID safe app and they're trying to scan the COVID.
Yeah.
One thing I like to do
And then get pissy because they don't, like, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? I'm like, well,
Not
this
that.
has got nothing to do with WA state government, unfortunately.
If you see
This
a-
is Roz speaking to 12 people next week in the library.
if you see a QR code, a good thing to do is like if you always carry around like a Sharpie with you, and then you just like add a few squares to it, it really fucks it up.
See what I would have done there, Jake. I'm going back, boys. I'm going back to the last seggy
Whoa.
because you guys,
Post-credit scene.
you guys didn't.
What's happening?
You guys
The
didn't.
jury checks in.
You guys didn't ask the bloody little juror on the side what he thought of the whole situation. Little juror just sat there silent for 5 minutes and then the drum beat went off. I reckon it was well left. I wouldn't say anything.
But so for the rest of that guy's life, he's going to be drawing on his hand.
Yeah, just
It might not be long.
leave him be.
Yeah.
I feel like us old people just like doing things their way. It's the easiest because they don't have to
Really?
think
Did
about
he
it.
look like he was enjoying it?
Like, he looked fine, but also, like, he wasn't there at the footy by himself. I love that we've gone back. This is the first time we've done 245 episodes. Never
The
done
case
it.
has been reopened.
So he had a mate with him who was probably the same age as him, sitting next to him, and he didn't jump in either. So are they all doing it? Maybe that's
Maybe.
maybe that's the bigger. If you have a grandparent, spend this weekend.
Yeah.
Go
Maybe visit him.
just check in on them and ask them to send you. That's what you need to do this weekend. Anyone over the age of 60, speak to them this weekend and ask them to send you
Someone's number.
someone's phone number and watch them fucking do it. All right, and if they get out a pen, put it in them or something.
Yeah,
Do
put him
something.
down.
Get and show them how it works so that I don't have to. I guess is the play.
Case closed.
Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh,
Session adjourned.
because it was weird, but I don't know. At the time, I was like, I could definitely.
Session has been adjourned.
I can help this guy out.
Order!
But you've said I'm guilty and you've said play on.
Yeah, it's 50-50 world we live in.
Yeah. Innocent until proven guilty.
All right, well, you vote at home and just have a chat to your grandparents.
Innocent until proven gimpy.
Were we allowed to buzz out yet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now it's cool.
I'm happy.
Okay. Alrighty, boys, it's time for our favourite weekly segment. It's our only weekly segment. It's time for our Everyday Hero,
I was at a Bunnings Sausage Sizzle.
which is pretty foreign for you
Saturday.
for the resident vegan on the show. You talk about some of the most hectic meat-based stuff, I reckon, of any of us.
Yeah.
When it comes to meat, Joe seems to be our guy. If it comes to animals and like killing them and stuff, it's always Joe. And then you get to a barbecue, he's flipping the burgers, but he's not eating the burgers apparently.
So
No, I wasn't flipping. I said I volunteered.
you're at a BBQ, but Bunnings barbecues.
Yeah.
Sick. What was it for?
It was for none other than our dear friends at Radio Fremantle.
Oh, bit of extra cash coming through the old doors, eh?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. The bit of volunteering involved. Is that what you were doing down there?
Yeah, I volunteered to go down and help, but I said I won't be flipping any sausages.
Yeah.
I was on the till.
No, you're old.
Oh, Money Man, Joey,
Yeah.
classic Joey on the till. I'd be a bit nervous with Joey on the till.
Counting cash.
There's a
over there.
reason he drives around that massive. What is that thing he drives? The Bellina.
The Valena
You know, what do you mean? It's very economical.
doesn't
Yeah.
come from nothing, Joey.
What?
That's cold hard cash there.
Joey.
What?
That's a bloody
Joey's on that
asset.
Bellina cash.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
what do
an
you mean?
asset, dude.
It's like
It's an asset.
an asset.
Paid cash. I heard you paid cash.
I did pay cash.
Oh my god,
Where'd you get the cash
He's
from?
got Bellina cash.
Sausage Sizzle.
Yeah, a couple of sausage sizzles and then you're good to go. Yeah, I was down there volunteering and we were absolutely gunning it. We were selling these sausages like they were hotcakes.
Like the hot dogs.
Yeah.
Do you know what? How good is a Bunnings sausage sizzle? $3.50. Oh,
$3.50 now.
yummy.
$3.50.
Yeah.
They've been $3.50 for a couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, inflation.
But that's still a good price because when I was at the HBF Run for a reason on Sunday, activating,
Yeah.
it was around 7 a.m. and the food trucks all opened up.
Yeah.
And we were all like, oh, a bit peckish because we all had to, the shift started at 5 a.m.
Yeah, you've been there a while.
Yeah, grim. Anyway, so we all walked over to the old, the little food trucks.
Yeah.
And the only place that was cooking was this guy doing sausages
That's very keen.
in like a big truck. It wasn't like it was
Gourmet.
like, no, it was like one of those like burger plate. Like, you know, there's like they sell like the chips on a stick and all that kind of stuff. And then
Just put the chips in the fucking in the bucket, bro.
and then we were like, yeah, we'll just grab the sausage in a bun, and it was like $8.50.
What the
Whoa.
But that's what you get when you go
How
to
big's
these
the
events.
sausage?
It was a 9-incher.
Oh, it's a small one.
Good gear. How big is the normal sausage?
5-inch.
No idea.
I'm not too sure with the measurement. I
So it
knew
was
that,
much bigger. It was twice as big as a jumbo.
Yeah, it was pretty big. But then we
They
got
have
it.
other stuff on it?
We got it right, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, I could do them hell quick. I'll do them hell quick for you."
I don't want it quick. I want it. I want it cooked.
Anyway, he handed it to us. It was really
I've never understood that. People are like, I can do this food for you really fast, and I'm like,
the
I
microwave
don't,
is good.
I don't care. Just make sure the chicken isn't pink, please.
And then he was like, "You guys want what sauces you want?" We're like, "Yeah, tomato and mayo or whatever. What is it? Ketchup, ketchup and mustard." Yeah.
Ketchup and tomato.
Yeah. He was like, "Yes, well, I'll smash those out for you real quick." So me and two of the other boys got on. Yeah, hands it to us. Frankfurt.
Oh, red sausage.
Yeah, no good. We started walking away with the old 9-incher. Big thing.
Yeah, hanging 10.
Hanging out the other side
The
by
red
about
rocket.
3 inches on each side. And then we were walking.
That's also bad because it's like,
And then
We want some bread.
we all took
Yeah.
a bite and like with mustard as well. I like took a bite.
Yeah.
And I was like, boys, what do you reckon about this? And he was like, for $8.50, I was hoping I was going to get a real fucking sausage, not a bloody Frankfurt.
yeah.
The
They're
Frankfurts
probably
are often boiled,
right?
yeah. So he's probably they've been on. No wonder he can do them
Kettle.
quick. He
Yeah.
started boiling them on Thursday night.
And
He's
then-
doing them with an Earl Grey.
Do you guys want a tea as well?
Funny story. One of the boys met him that day. Great bloke. One of the best blokes I've ever met. He was
The sausage guy.
No. It was
Oh.
one of the boys I was working with. He told me a funny story about Frankfurts on the way back to the activation. He said his old boss, he's a bit of a tradie apprentice kind of guy. He was like, my old boss used to go to the footy, big Dockers
Yes,
membership
yes.
Down at, what was the old stadium?
Subiaco.
Yeah, like real
Patterson,
OG
don't
kind of footy
right.
footy guy. And
He used to write phone numbers on his
he
inside
used
of his hand.
he used to take
No, he would have a Kransky that he'd run on.
he used to take a thermos to the game.
Yes.
Hot dog.
With 4 Frankfurts in it.
Oh.
And eat one at each quarter.
That's health. That's health, baby.
and
That
then-
should
then
come
if
in the
they-
membership.
If they won, he gets to drink the water.
And then in the 4th quarter, he'd dump a tea bag in it.
Oh, yeah. That is living, baby. Earl Grey, sign me up.
And that
My
got-
God.
that
The
reaction.
water's already grey. Like, honestly, just
Like-
got all Frankfurt juice in it.
Honestly, man, that reaction was given by everyone he told that story
That's
to that day.
That's
Vile,
vile. Yeah. Speak up. You know when like sometimes you're suffering in silence. If you see someone do that, they are suffering in
How
silence.
good
Help
is his
them.
thermos if it can last not only that long, but he's opening it up to cook cooking sausages.
How do you get a sausage out of it without burning your
but
hand?
also, like,
I've seen people
you
do.
can't leave. So if you cook a Frankfurt, right, there's obviously like the ideal amount of time to boil it for.
yeah,
It's not 2 hours. It's like, you know,
Yeah, that's.
the last
But
one.
that's also like the game goes for about 2 hours. You got to think about the travel beforehand and everything.
Yeah.
Like,
Also, what is in a Frankfurt sausage? It legit just looks.
it's grey. It's grey
tastes-
matter.
Yeah.
and it like tastes and feels just like rubber.
Yep.
Is it rubber?
Huh?
Probably. I
think
reckon.
it's meat.
I don't reckon it is, mate.
There's more meat.
Yeah.
There's more meat in marshmallows than there is in Frankfurts, I reckon.
Yeah,
at the moment.
because like you look at I remember them being like a thin red outer layer
Yeah.
with like a grey inner matter, right?
That's great.
But the ones we were eating
it's
were
grey.
like
Grey.
50% red
It's absolutely grey.
on the inside. But then the ones
If
we
you bite open a sausage, a normal like beef sausage, what colour would you say that is?
Brown.
nah.
Okay, yeah, that checks out. But the
Brown
Frankfurts aren't that colour.
But these ones, Nan used to make good ones. It would kind of just felt like a little bit of like,
Yeah, and you eat them with a toothpick.
kind of like, like a wrap almost
Yeah,
of
yeah.
red. But this
Bit of
was
plastic.
the ones we were eating were like red, like almost 50% of the way through, and it was like a little this
Like the real American ones.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
The red skin bit used to taste like balloons.
Yeah.
It's like, should we be eating this?
Same consistency.
Yeah.
That's the bit you shouldn't be worried about. Like, that's okay.
I think even when we were kids, Nan would make them and we'd peel off the skin like it was a wrapper.
Yeah, it was like it was an orange with a peel.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Crazy that you
I
can
used to
sell
love them.
whatever and call it food.
I used to love them as well.
Yeah,
Like
because
Frankfurts
we would
were,
only
like,
have them at
special.
Nan's.
They're fucked, man.
And you just used to, at like old school parties, you used to just, someone would walk around with like a plate of Frankfurts and or just tomato sauce. And they'd put them in sticks. Like you just put sticks
Did
on.
Everyone live like this, or
And you'd just be like, oh, fuck yes.
No, we're posh.
Just a yummy, dunk that in the tomato sauce and then you eat it.
And then
I
you
feel
eat-
like that's stopped.
Give me the-
I've never been to a party since I've turned
give
on
me
like
a bloody
10.
styrofoam cup. I'll have that for dessert.
Yeah, I think people are now a bit more aware about
What goes
how
into food?
things. There are things you should eat, and there are things that are Frankfurts. But we were cooking the real deal sausages at the
Okay,
Bunnings
good.
Sausage Sizzle.
Good to
I was
hear.
on the till, and we were selling out. We were sold out. We were down to our last sausage.
Oh, single sausage.
Yep, single sausage.
Right.
And a man walks up. He's just come out for his lunch break, or he's finishing his shift. Not 100%
What time of
sure.
day was it?
We finished up at around 2:45.
That's early.
Sold out. Yeah.
That
Totally
means
sold
that
out.
they were in high demand.
They were, and it was
They usually last the
pissing
whole
down
day.
with rain. Yeah.
Sounds like Riley hangs out in the car fucking just watches these sorts of
Yeah.
events.
And yeah, you seem to know a lot
I
about
don't mind the sausage sizzle at Bunnings.
Okay.
And so this guy walks
Stay to
out.
the very end, do you?
Yeah, usually. I'm there at all times of the day.
Congratulations, guys, you did it. Last week they did
Watching you
2:45. They knocked off last week.
Yeah,
well done.
slack
Way to,
pricks.
way to stick it out till 4:30, you legends.
So this guy comes out. He's working at Bunnings. He comes out. He's keen to get his lunch. He walks over and he goes, "Oh, I'll grab. Oh, you guys still going? I'll grab a sausage." I think he wanted two originally.
Mad.
And we were like, "Oh, you've got it. It's our last one. We're down to our last one." And then the people who I was on shift with had this idea, which I thought was crazy to suggest, but they said, "Oh, if once we sell out, if people come up and ask, say we can do one with just onions."
Oh, just bread and onions.
Yeah, right. Which I thought was
And you'd still charge $3.50 for that?
just $2 for that.
Okay.
Which I
That
thought
still
was
seems like $2 too much.
I thought was like an insane suggestion, but
But as a Vigo, that'd be right up your alley.
no, I still like have taste buds and stuff. Yeah, I thought it was crazy. We sold a couple.
Yeah, people do like them.
Yeah,
Just onion in bread.
yeah, bread sandwich. It was an onion sandwich. We called it
Well, branding them up.
What sauce? The Radio
Whatever.
Fremantle onion
onion
sandwich.
sandwich. Yeah.
Get a patent on this. We're taking this to
Trademark.
Macca's.
Anyway, so this guy, he goes, yeah, I'll have one. He goes, I'll have one. I'll talk him one with just onions.
That's disgusting.
And then
Oh, he's going to build a mega. Maybe he's going to build a mega
mega.
sausage sizzle.
Anyway, so then we're cooking up the last sausage, and they put it together, and then they put it out like it's ready to be taken.
Yeah.
And that's just, and then they were talking to the guy. The bonus guy was a really nice guy. And then this older gentleman who was quite old, like like you see some people out and you're like, whoa, it's like good effort.
Yeah.
Good effort for making it this far.
Make
Yeah.
it.
Should we be calling someone to get you? Anyway, one of those guys walks up to the counter and he's like, "Are you guys selling sausages?"
Sold out, mate.
Yeah, and we're like,
Just the onions, brother.
too slow. So we tell him, unfortunately, we are sold out. We've only got onions left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, oh,
Gross.
yes, no, I wanted a sausage. obviously.
Who doesn't? Who lines up for just the onions?
And then the Bunnings guy who had already bought his sausage.
Oh, this
And it's
is
up
it.
there.
This
He
is the
goes-
moment.
Here we go.
He goes,
Sucks to be you.
yeah. And he fucking, a hot dog eating contest? This guy did one of them.
Just railed
Yeah, he
it.
dunked it in a bit of water. No, he says to the old guy, he says,
Shove it up.
hey, why don't you have this one? I'll just have 2 onion ones.
That's
and a bucket to be sticking things.
Imagine
I'll have
getting
2
served by him.
onions.
Just standing over the till. How's your day going?
Withering up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he gave.
So you wanted 2 just onion.
He ate 2 onion sandwiches.
fucker.
Check on him as well. When we're doing the checks on people, check on him.
And the old guy got he obviously came and paid for the one that he got. But yeah, I just thought it was nice. Like if I had ordered a hot dog,
I want the hot dog.
yeah, and it's like the last one.
Yeah, put yourself in that situation. What are you doing?
I get out of there pretty. I get out of there pretty quick. I'm not fucking around. I'm getting this.
Especially when you had the last one. I wouldn't be still standing there
But
with onion.
depends how cute the old guy was.
He was pretty sweet. He was like,
He was a really nice guy, and he like seemed flat about like,
This was it.
yeah,
I've waited 94 years for this.
Yeah, it could be his last one.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go. I love it. Good hero.
But yeah, he gave it up. He was the Sausage Sizzle Saviour.
that's good. I
We love it.
write that.
So this week's Everyday Hero is going to the Sausage Sizzle Saviour, who donated his sausage to an elderly man.
After
Not
already
like
paying
that.
for it as well.
Hey,
He already paid for it as well. Like,
yeah,
he,
did
it
you
was
give him a
his.
refund?
Or did you steal the $1.50
classic
from
Joe.
him?
No, he didn't want it.
Joe pocketed that. Just wrote that down. 2 onions.
So you also donated an extra $1.50 to the
Yeah,
station.
a lot of people were doing that. A lot
Joey.
of people would just keep the change kind of operation.
Wow, yeah.
One guy, he gave me $50 for a hot dog.
And he's not getting the hero, apparently.
And I was trying to sort out the change, but it was like hard because there was like a lot of change. Because
Oh, come on now. What?
you got to find 2 20s, a 5,
$47.50.
2. Like I'm just got this little
46.50.
pouch. It's not. I don't have a till.
Okay, yeah, righto.
Digging
Joe
around,
making
in
it
this
look
pouch.
harder than it is.
You got a fanny pack on
I'm
you.
digging around in this. Yeah, I'm digging around my fanny pack to get this 46.50 change, and I finally get it. And then the guy's got his hot dog, and he's walking off.
Oh,
And I was like, "Hey mate, you got."
you just paid for the most
46.50,
expensive
yeah.
shit sausage
And he
ever.
goes, "Well, that would have been an expensive sausage."
And then you paid him. You gave him his money.
They gave him the money back.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Selfish from him a bit.
You could have
Yeah.
been the hero.
Yeah,
you
he
could have been the hero. You could have made an extra $50 for the save.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it. This week's Everyday Hero is going to the Sausage Saviour for looking after an elderly gent and firing him his sausage instead. Righty, boys, that just about brings us to the end of another episode of the podcast. We do have a bit of news. We found before we get to that,
We found
Yeah.
something.
we found something this week. But before we get to that, we also found out that Joe was terrible at the sign competition.
Yes.
Joey collected 7 honks,
Ooh.
while Junior Boy and I collected 16 each. You can go back and listen to the Radio Fremantle episode. We actually released it a little bit early this week. We released it on Monday because we had so many people message us going, how can we see the show? How can we see the show? I don't want any of the boring music to get in the way of the show. So we released that. So go back and have a listen. It is actually quite entertaining for us and for you because we knew as much about what was going on as you as the listeners probably will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
No,
a
it was good.
complete mayhem. But no, it went really well. The first minute, I cannot fathom. I have explained this to a few people I've spoken to since. The first minute that because Riley went out first.
Yeah.
The first minute that you were doing yours,
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, I was panicking. I don't reckon we got a single honk, and the whole time I'm thinking we're going to go in and we're going to announce that Riley just received 1 honk, and then I'm going to have to come out and somehow beat it, knowing just how hard that 1 honk was to get.
Yeah.
So when a few people started to rev up and we got a fucking fair few in the end,
Yeah, it's good.
it definitely does fill the world with confidence. I reckon getting your first honk, it's just like the most freeing feeling. You don't really know what that means or feels like until you're doing it and
And
you're standing
then-
on the side of the road.
When you got a string, that was the best.
Yeah, when there's like 7 cars approaching and the first guy honks, you know that you're on for a couple.
Yeah.
You know, we're humans of
Habit.
and we like to follow the pack.
Influence, yeah.
So when someone toots, we're all tooting.
Yeah.
Who cares what it
yeah,
says?
yeah.
Toot toot.
No, it was fantastic. So thank you to everyone who got involved. Thank you to everyone who honked and whatnot. If you haven't already listened to it, go back and listen to it. And this weekend, me and Junior Boy will be surprising Joe with his own sign as punishment that he will have to take out on the street.
Yep.
And he'll have to stand out there until he receives the same number of honks he received on Saturday, which was 7.
Do I get to do a surge?
Nah.
Nah, no surging. Absolutely not. Well, like the surge worked for you anyway. You got 0 in the surge.
I think the surge was bad.
You reckon that? Yeah, okay, fair.
That was it.
Definitely the worst. And then we'll have to dish out our signs. I think we'll give Joe the following week to distribute the signs. Because by the time we get them made, that'll be too hard a problem. Easy enough?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Cool. So that's happening on Saturday. But excitingly this week,
Oh.
speaking about human nature,
Okay.
we found a box
Oh.
of MacPack merchandise that we thought had well and truly sold out. So during the week, I have counted what we had. And it must be a box that we've taken to a festival or something because there was...
And was it like the bottom of a pile of other boxes that we just have collated over the years of toys and other clothes?
Yeah, well,
and stuff?
it's in our little storeroom area. But this
And we
box...
found it.
Well, we must have been... Because every time we go to Seasons, everything we take seems to sell out.
Yeah.
So this must have been one of the boxes that we took and left in the car for whatever reason. Then we brought it in at 3 a.m. and went, yeah, we'll deal with that
shove that in the
tomorrow.
corner. Gives a
And 18 months later, we found it.
But yeah.
Because there is everything in there. There is
White tees.
white T-shirts, which I didn't think we had any of
The
left.
MacPack blue box tee. Just
Yeah.
says MacPack established 2020 on it.
And there's a handful of decent sizes as well. Like there's a bunch of larges, bunch of mediums from memory.
Yeah, and larges were very high demand at the time.
And the black,
Let's get
into it tees.
How many of them do we have?
I thought we sold out of them fucking
I think
ages ago.
I think we bought more after we did the first order.
That might be the case
sold
because
out.
there's a hand, but again, there's not much. I reckon there's 3 shirts. I can't tell you what sizes there are,
All right.
but there is fuck all. So if you jump online, there's also the white caps. Not
Yeah.
many of them either. I want to say 5 to 10 white caps. There wasn't many at all, and there's literally a handful of these mugs because I thought we sold all of them.
Yeah, but we definitely got free ones of theirs, didn't we? We printed out 50 and they gave us an extra 50 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we got rid of all the shit ones, and now it's just like the nice ones because we got it different. Even the ones we're looking at here, like this one's heinous. Like what? This one is without a fucking head, so it's just like 2 eyes and a mouth. Where
Yeah.
Joey's has like a full face on the back end. I think they're all.
What do we have?
I think they all look like that. I
Okay.
haven't opened
Full
them all
face.
up. I think they're full faces.
Yeah. That's why they misprinted.
Trying to think, what else do we have? We've got no jumpers. That's the one thing I can confirm. 0 jumpers. But I actually had someone. We had Choc reach out to me during the week.
Yep.
And he was just like, dude, I need to get one of these shirts. And everyone else that said that to me over the last year, I've gone, yeah, no, we sold out. When we do more, I'll let you know. We found some. So Choc will be getting his, but
Nice.
I can't stress enough, like go to the store now because if there is something in your size or if there is a hat available or a mug available, it's not going to be there for very long, especially the shirts. The
How
shirt
much do they
says like 2, there might be, at a maximum, there'll be like 2 sizes of a shirt.
How much does the shirt cost?
They're all $40 at the moment.
Yeah. Cool.
And yeah, just have a look. Have a gaze.
Have a gaze.
Because-
Macpack.com.au, right?
While stocks last.
Yeah, while stocks last, and I don't think they'll last very long because they didn't last long when we thought we had stock. So I doubt they'll last long now that we do have stock.
Yeah. And obviously this isn't merch. This is podcast wear. This is podcast uniform.
Yeah, podcast uniform, MacPack uniforms.
The mug's $15. The
Don't say that. The frat cap.
the official MacPack mug, $15. The frat crap.
You've done it again. The frat cap.
The frat cap is $30. The mother hugger is
Nah, that's sold
at
out.
$60. The sheet mug.
I don't think we have any of them left. Quick on it. Quick
I
on
thought
it.
the
think that's-
sheet mug was the original mug. I don't know.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think we had any.
Oh, okay. And then we've got the baby blue box tee, $40, and the let's get into it tee.
But do
$40.
jump in because there is, if it's in your size, there's probably 2 of them at absolute most. So make sure you hustle through. I don't know. Mother's Day's past. Make it a belated Mother's Day present if you want. Just saying, we got Mum, I found the box. The boys found the box, and I found the money to pay for the box. All right,
That's cool.
that us.
That's us.
Beautiful, boys. It has been an absolute pleasure until we do this time next week. Stay safe, stay blessed, and always remember to
Go give your mum a hug.
It's ciao for now. Bye.
G'day, guys. Hope you're enjoying the podcast.
As always.
We're about to be enjoying the podcast anyway. Yeah. If you are enjoying the pod, make sure to send it to a friend. Yeah. And excitingly, there's a brand new feature.
New feature alert.
On Spotify, which is that little feedback box.
The box. We love a little box.
And on the on each of the episodes, you can plug away a bit of feedback for the show. So you can literally say specifically, basically give us some feedback specific to the show that you just listened to, the episode you just listened to. No matter what episode you're up to, ping us in that feedback, and then you can that feedback will then feature for other people who are catching up or they're listening to the episodes. They will see that as well, and most importantly, we like to see it. So if you can share it with your friends and write a few little words in the box, it would mean the absolute world to us.